What's up, you guys? It's Avery. Welcome back to my channel. So a lot of people have been asking questions about my struggle with PCOS, and I'm at work and I'm on my lunch break and my makeup's done and I have a cute outfit on, so what better time to talk about it? So this isn't like my normal video. Like, I don't think I'm gonna cry, so that's good. But I just think that PCOS is so unknown and so I wouldn't say rare, because I know a lot of girls my age that actually have it, but it's just not talked about very often. And when you find out you have it, or you find out someone else you know has it, a lot of people just don't know what it is. Like, so first of all, gonna go ahead and say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not super knowledgeable about a lot of diseases or whatever. So everything that I'm saying is from a patient's perspective. It's from somebody affected by PCOS's perspective. So if I say something or whatever that might not be medically true, just take what I'm saying as a grain of salt and take it as a personal experience, because that's what it is. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs of this disease. I don't know. It's different for everyone. Anyways, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the basic question. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I know that some of the symptoms are, you know, growing hair in places that probably shouldn't, or weight gain is a big one. What else is there? Getting, obviously, ovary or cyst on your ovaries, and infertility. There's a lot of other ones, depression, lots of other things. So I'm just going to talk about the symptoms that I have, and God bless other women that have the symptoms that I don't, because the symptoms I have are enough to deal with. So anyway, just going to go back to the beginning real briefly. When I was in high school in 10th grade, I was probably 15 or 16. And I've always been a plus size gal. I've always been heavier. I've always been, you know, there's nothing small about me. I've got a big personality. I'm a thick girl, plus size. I've always been plus size. But my freshman year of high school, I was probably a size 12 or 14. Easy. And I remember thinking I was so fat, which is so insane now, because, you know, now you look at yourself and you're like, I wasn't fat at all. I was just so hard on myself. And anyway, I digress. So I was size 12, 14. That's normally where I was. Well, halfway through my 10th grade year, I just all of a sudden gained like 50 pounds, like in the span of 3 months, like out of nowhere. And I had really awful stretch marks on my stomach and on my hips, and I just didn't know what was happening. So we went to the doctor, and I was still going to my pediatrician. So she really, I'm not going to say she didn't know what was going on, but PCOS wasn't as big. It's really big in our generation, the millennial generation. PCOS is a big thing, and there's a lot of speculations as to why. But eventually, where was I? Oh yeah, she suggested putting me on birth control. Now, what I'm about to tell you next is going to make my mom sound really bad, and she's not a bad person. I love my mom to pieces. I couldn't have asked for a better mom. But she was raised differently than I was, and she was raised Southern Baptist, and we could go into that too, but we're not gonna. Long story short, my mom did not believe that I needed to be put on birth control because she was afraid of what other people would think of me. So I was not put on birth control. So I had really heavy periods. I was gaining weight. They tested my, oh God. This always happens when I try to talk to people. Like any other time, I know the word. They tested my something. They tested my it's a woman part that regulates metabolism. You probably are going to tell me in the comments, God bless you, I just can't think of it right now. They tested that and it was normal. Everything was normal. So they really didn't know what was going on. So I just kept dealing with it. And I tried to watch what I ate. And I still don't eat a lot. It's not that I eat a lot. It's that my body just holds on to it. Like, I have no metabolism. Anyway, so go through high school, make it through high school. Now we're in college. Well, we're in my first year of college. I was going to university. So we're in college and periods are still painful, I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions. So I go to my adult doctor because we moved towns in high school, so I'm in a different town. I got a different doctor. I go to an adult doctor. Tell her my symptoms, and she's like, this sounds like textbook PCOS. And I'm like, what the is PCOS? So she briefly explains it. We do a blood test. I leave. I get a call a couple days later. I do have PCOS. They do an ultrasound, a vaginal ultrasound. I do not have any ovarian cyst. I have never had ovarian cyst to my knowledge. I did have one polyp that was benign. Yeah, benign's the one that it's not cancer. It was non-cancerous. I have had one polyp. They scraped it at that time. It was gone. Like, I've never had ovarian cyst. But my ovaries were textbook PCOS. Okay, well, at this point, I'm 18 or 19 years old. Like, we all remember how we felt when we were 18 or 19. Like, didn't really give a shit about anything in life other than, like, boys and school and friends and hanging out. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, whatever. So they put me on medicine. And I was on metformin for a while. And it just made my insides hurt so bad that I quit taking it. So just kept having these really bad periods. Okay, well, in the midst of all this, I met my husband during this time. We were dating. Like, I was doing lots of other things. I didn't really think about PCOS that much. So fast forward to probably 21 or 22. All of a sudden, I stopped bleeding altogether for like 3 or 4 months. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm not hurting. Like, I'm not feeling any really bad side effects here. So whatever, like, I'm not trying to get pregnant right now. It's whatever. Then I don't bleed for 3 or 4 months. And then I have like a month-long period. I go to the doctor, like, I freak out. Like, they give me, Provera, I think it was Provera. But basically, this medicine is supposed to stop your period for 7 days, and then once you end the pills, it restarts it. You have a really you have a really heavy period, and then it starts over. And that's what happened. So anyways, I'm just gonna scoot on to me being 23 years old. So I got married when I was 23. So Jeremy and I, which is my husband's Jeremy and I decided about 6 months after we got married that we would like to start trying to have a baby. Now, with that being said, we weren't in the best financial situation anyways. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, it just was not a great idea, but we wanted to. So we weren't charting anything, but we were having unprotected sex. Like, previous to this, but before I got married, I was on birth control, and then I was for the first 6 months of my marriage, and then I got off. And while I was on birth control, it regulated the periods. They were still really painful, but they were regular. So 6 months, we decided we want to have a baby. Okay, great. So we start having unprotected sex. And because we're newlyweds, we have a lot of it. Well, it comes to our year anniversary, and I'm still not pregnant. And I go to the doctor, and I basically tell him, you know, I'm freaking out. Like, I don't understand why I'm not pregnant. Not understanding what's going on. So he puts me back on metformin, which is, it's actually, metformin is a diabetic medicine, but it actually has a second use for PCOS patients. It helps to regulate periods. So it's one medicine that's supposed to do one thing, but ends up doing another too. And that happens a lot. So I get back on metformin, and I'm still on that today. I'm still on metformin. It makes my insides hurt. It makes me have to go to the bathroom a lot. I hate it. Like, but, you know, you do what you have to do. So I get on metformin. We tried that for 6 months, still not pregnant. So I go back to my doctor, and he says, okay, well, I just want to be cautious, and we're going to test your husband too. My husband, they test me. You know, Jeremy's information is something that Jeremy, if he ever decides to share it with anybody, he can. So I'm not going to say exactly what was found out about Jeremy, but essentially our bodies are working against each other when it comes to making a baby. It's going to be very hard. So I get wildly depressed, which is another symptom of PCOS. I try to join all these support groups on Facebook for infertility with PCOS. Read posts all the time that these 30 and 40-year-olds still aren't pregnant. Just depressed. And in between all this, we're still trying to have a baby. People that are close to me are telling me if I just stop thinking about it, I'll get pregnant, which is so idiotic. If you know somebody that's trying to have a baby, don't ever say that to them. Thoughts have nothing to do with wanting to have a baby. Nothing at all. It's all chemistry. That's the worst thing you can say to somebody that's going through infertility, just so you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward about another year. It's February, and by this time I'd had the worst period of my life. I had been bleeding 4 months. Things are about to get graphic, so if you're squeamish, you can leave. Clot the size of golf balls is coming out of me. I am bleeding through overnight pads onto my chair at work in the span of an hour. Something is wrong. So I go to my regular doctor, my gynecologist, and I tell him what's going on. Like, I miss work because I am in so much pain. Like, I miss work on a Friday, and I go to him. He's like, well, I'm just going to put you on Provera again, which is the medicine that restarts it after a week. And I say, okay, but I'm telling you, something is wrong with me. Something is really wrong. So they go in to do a vaginal ultrasound, and when they put, you know, the wand up my hoo-ha, they can't see anything because it's all shadow. So they decide that they're going to do an emergency dilation and curettage, a DNC. Now, if you don't know what DNCs are, they are basically scraping out your uterus with a scraper. They're supposed to be inpatient hospital. Like, you're supposed to go in, get, I'm putting up my lunch. I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise. You're supposed to go to the hospital, get put under, wake up, and it's over with, and you can leave a few hours later once you pee. They couldn't see anything, and they were scared, so they did it right then, and I was awake for the whole time. I got a nerve blocker. That was the worst pain in my life. They were literally scraping out my uterus, and I was awake. It was bad. So the floor, and I'm really not trying to be gross here, I'm telling the truth, the floor was covered in blood. There's a puddle around the bottom of the hospital bed. When they put the wand back up me, they could see everything. So I had just built up and built up and built up lining, like uterine lining. So I go back to work, and I got in trouble for missing work. And no, let me back up. So the nerve blocker makes my legs shake so bad. I'm crying because I just got my freaking uterus scraped out, and he tells me I can leave and go to work. And I can barely walk out the door. I make it to my car, burst out in tears. My sister has to come pick me up. Like, my legs are shaking. I can't walk. Anyways, fast forward to that Monday. I come back to work. I get in trouble because I missed work. So I sign a form with my HR department saying that particular practice can release any information that they need to just verify that what I did was medically sound, that it needed to be done. And if you give me a emergency DNC, you would think it had to be done. Like, she had to come in and get that done because she was in so much pain. My doctor refused to sign it, would not talk to me about it, would not discuss it, just would not sign it. saying that it was medically sound for me to be there. So I left that practice. I didn't bleed for 4 months. I finally got a period again. It's been semi-normal. Right now I've been bleeding for a month again, so I'm probably gonna have to go back to the doctor and see what's going on with that, but I have a different doctor now. But anyways, I wish that my PCOS story had a happy ending. I fantasize about making a video where I tell this whole story, then I end with an announcement that I'm pregnant. I don't know if I'll ever get pregnant. I don't know if we'll ever have our own biological children. I certainly hope so, but it's yet to be found. I don't know yet. Right now we're not trying. We're moving into a brand new house next month, so we've got some other things going on, but we're probably going to try to start trying again towards the end of this year, for real, with fertility meds, and we're probably going to have to go to a special hospital in our capital city, that's just a couple of hours away, a fertility clinic. So anyway, you know, I've had comments asking me how my PCOS was bothering me, or why, you know, I have to take iron tablets, especially if I've been bleeding a long time because I've just lost too much blood. I'm tired. I get depressed. I explained in my New Year's video, if you want to check that out, that I got so depressed, you know, at my last job, I was getting sick in the morning. Like, it's a real thing, and it's, unless you have it, you just don't understand. So, that's my video. I hope I wasn't too depressing. Next video is going to be a Valentine's Day celebration, so that one will be fun. That'll be going up probably Sunday or Monday. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Leave me a comment if you have PCOS, or if you have any other questions, I'll try to answer them. I love you guys. You guys keep me going. You guys are so positive and sweet to me. I really appreciate it. I love you so much. Bye.